That is the most diabolical, disgusting thing that I think has ever been perpetrated on mankind throughout recorded history.
Well, as the passage of 1207 goes through and the investigations start, you're going to see all kinds of stuff coming out, and Ron Paul will reintroduce his bill to do away with the Fed within a year of 1207 being approved, and there won't be a Fed anymore.
Well, and I would...
And then we got to stop the revolving door between Wall Street and the government, particularly the Treasury Department.
Well, and what this is not going, and I can see they're going to have a field day with this, Bob, because this is great fodder for propaganda. It's going to be, well, you want to mess with Wall Street that feeds Main Street, that the businesses and the corporations that have been selling us out for year after year after year. These people have no allegiance to anybody or anything except themselves. So you're going to see all kinds of things come out about this. And I hope you're right, Bob. I hope
we're going to go head-to-head with them, John.
Yeah, we are.
All of the people who are doing what we're doing now. And people will join us, perhaps not people who are on the edge now. If they haven't committed themselves, they probably never will. But new people will come, and people will come to take our place and help us.
And you know what?
It's going to happen.
And you know what? It's not going to matter whether you're white or black. It's not going to matter if you're Jewish or Muslim or what your faith is. You are going to be reclassified as not being a hyphenated American, but somebody that is in this, that you enjoyed the lifestyle. Now it's time to pay the piper. And if we do this en masse, it's going to be a lot less expensive for each individual, and collectively it can be done. I hate to use that word collectively, but it fits. The time is coming, but they're masters, Bob. They are masters of deceit. This is not going to be a cakewalk. Now, Bernanke 2 months ago made veiled threats. Hey, if you're going to do this audit the Fed deal, we'll pull the plug on you. We will pull the plug on. And they have the power to do it. They've already...
Well, let them do it. And then what we do, we identify the people who pulled the plug, how they did it, pull up all their records, investigate them, and bring them to trial.
Well,
and we'll put them in jail and confiscate their assets.
And let's take the clowns that have been operating in the District of Criminals that have been cover boys for them, let them go as well. You want to talk about people that would have a real impact, Mr. Chapman. You know, not necessarily just CEOs of corporations or whatever. They're all pretty much bought and paid for. They've sold their souls. But these people sitting in Washington, D.C., I mean, it's going to be tar and feather and pitchfork time. That's why you're starting to see the hit pieces coming out, authored by the Southern Poverty Law Center and the American Defamation League, as I like to call them, and all their underlings. It is going to be a furor. It is going to be an absolute... It's going to rain chaos. But you're right. Even if this country does go down,
we have to go head-to-head with them, and that's not they don't expect that. And we are going to go head-to-head with them, and we're going to win the battle for the people's minds. And it's not going to be difficult to do that because they already know something's wrong. They just don't know what it is.
Exactly.
And they don't know who's doing it to them. And we can identify all that for them. And all of a sudden we're going to have legions of people who want change, who want trials, who want treason trials, who want executions. Listen, the first time you shoot one Illuminist because he's convicted of treason, the rest of them will cower back into their holes.
And this is...
But they're not going to be able to hide, whether they go to Paraguay or wherever they go to. We're going to find them.
Well, and this is exactly why you're starting to see the rhetoric turned up and the ADL going after people right now. And like I said, if they're picking out Glenn Beck and the Sean Hannitys of this planet are the it's the false game that's being played. They're crediting them with all the tea parties that have gone on around the country. They're crediting them with the Democrats are out there trying to push health care at these town meetings. And spontaneously, And mind you, they weren't being coached. They weren't being funded by organizations. They weren't being spoon-fed information. This was real-time, mad people of this country going after these creatures. It was the first time they were in the same room with them that could tell them, look, you can take your socialism and stick it where the sun doesn't shine. You can stick your national health care along with it, if it'll fit. It was spontaneous, but they're trying to hijack it. It's masterful what they're doing. It is masterful.
And it ain't going to work.
You're damn right it ain't. Renee in North Carolina. Right. Let's get to these phone calls. Hello, Renee.
Yes, and on this subject, none of this will work unless we do a massive cleaning of our corrupt Justice Department, because they don't do their job. These people, they have no fear of committing their crimes because they know nothing's going to be done. Even I got lucky one time, and remember when Vincent Bugliosi was promoting his books, The Crimes of George W. Bush, and he said that any state attorney general who had a soldier die from their state could prosecute him. I thought, yeah, we're going to see. I'm going to call in. So I called in and I asked him, because he's blah, 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 moaning about this. But then I said, I asked him, I said, Mr. Bugliosi, how does it make you feel that about your professional colleagues when you cannot find one attorney general, lawyer, in 50 states with the moral integrity to do the right thing? Well, I tell you what, that was one happy man that a commercial came.
Yeah.
And so the thing is, like I say, I would put Judge Napolitano in a hazmat team if it was me to clean out the Justice Department. But and I have one other thing that shows how much they're lying to us. A friend of mine had a large deal, where with a large commission at stake, where he was brokering a deal for hotel, and the guy was putting $1 million down, and needed to finance $3 million, so it's putting 25% down. And so he told me, because he told me the day before, he said, man, he's having trouble with the financing. Oh, God, the day before, and you don't have the financing right? He told me at the closing, he heard it himself, okay? What killed the deal was the FDIC underwriters, okay, said that, the bill, this was worth $5 million last year, $4 million this year, and it could be $3 million next year. So no. So the thing is, even when the government tries to say, well, why aren't the bankers lending people money, and shame on those bankers? From what my friend just told me, and, like the Bible says, by their deeds you shall know them. All this happy talk they give us about only recovering. And if you watch the deeds of the FDIC, when it comes to this, they voted a big no.
Hang on. We've got a break. Scott, Mark, Lark, another Mark, and others. We'll get to all your calls right after this. I don't know who these people were that came in here and dropped off a canister of Boy Scout caramel and chocolate popcorn. But bless you. I was going to leave it up here at the office. It's going home with me. Thank you for doing that. I appreciate it. Renee in North Carolina.
Well, at the end, before the commercial, I'd kind of finished my point.
Okay.
Like I said, what I kind of challenged Mr. Bugliosi on his feelings about his professional colleagues.
Well, And Napolitano, look, I've got a real problem with somebody that's supposed to be this great judge. I've been watching this guy for a long time. And if he is any value to the freedom movement, let's call it, in this country, he sure as hell wouldn't be on Fox News. There's something really amiss with this.
Well, he could lose his platform. He's got that, which he gets to reach a lot of people. And, he because he's got both a radio show and the legal consultant on Fox.
Yeah.
And so, I agree. I can't stand Fox, but I like the judge.
Well, but Renee, think about this. Do you ever hear him talking about any of the real mechanisms that have brought us to this point? And I'm talking about the who, what, where, when, and why. He'll pick topics that stroke people the wrong way, gets them all fired up and excited. But what does it really do?
Well, I admit he's walking a tightrope, but the thing is, I read his books. He kicks more butt in his books. And the thing is, I think, like I say, I think he from what he said in his books, he left being a judge. See, he doesn't want to be a judge. He hates it, and he's very clear in his books. He hates it because he's sick and tired of having the cops and the lawyers and stuff lie to him. He hated it.
Well,
so he much prefers being in broadcasting.
This is exactly what I'm talking about. Forget the cops and the people and everybody lying to him. It's the system itself.